she said kinda love affair.
Is love in the air, or is your relationship on the verge of destruction? Let's talk about it. Sit back,
Relax.
and enjoy your favorite cocktail as we discuss relationships, dating,
Sex.
and love. Love on the rocks, that is.
Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks.
Hey, what's up, everyone? And welcome to Love on the Rocks. How you guys all doing today? I am Roger the Wild Child, along with Michelle Urso. Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, I threw a little hitch last week, and we just ended up not doing a show last week. So I was just like, boom, no show this week. And
That's all right.
It's all right. We can take breaks every once in a while.
Exactly. We're here. In it to win it.
Yep, of course. Absolutely.
And I am so excited about this topic. I will say that.
This is going to be a really interesting topic because people have been in toxic relationships. And so and we're going to define what those toxic relationships are. We got some guests that are going to be joining us as well as our relationship influencers. So it's going to be a good show. Colette Johnson on Facebook is checking in. She's got those eyes going on. She's pretty much telling us that she's watching.
Love it. Yeah, I just think it's such a great topic because so many people can relate to it. Most people can relate to it.
Yes.
And I will say that most people that I work with in my business, it's about their relationships and the toxicity that it can bring. So that's
Exactly.
why I'm so excited.
Okay. So we're going to define toxic relationships. We're going to talk about stories. We're going to talk about experiences that, we've been in that have been toxic. And I think most people are I think it's more common for people to be in a toxic relationship than normal than I think there's a lot more out there that people don't realize, that people ignore toxic relationships. They ignore the red flags that they're in, and people ignore it and don't leave. And why don't they leave?
There's a lot of reasons for that.
There is a lot of reasons for that. So let's bring on our relationship influencers, the mouth from the South. Let's bring on Meg.
What's up, Meg?
Hi, Michelle. Hey, Roger.
Hello. And Lydia is here.
Hey, Lydia.
I'm here.
What's up? What's up?
Woo-hoo. So it's going to be a good topic. Lydia, what's your insight on toxic relationships? Do you feel like I do? Like a lot of people, more people are common to be in these relationships than they're willing to admit it?
I think nowadays it's just more so that people are more open to talking about it than they used to be. So I feel like that's why we see it a lot more. Because, like going back like 10, 15 years ago, nobody was like sharing their relationships like fully online like we do now. So now people are quick to point out, hey, that's pretty toxic for you. Like even if you're not seeing it, like we see it. So I think because we're sharing more people are exposing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Megan, your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know. I think toxic has always existed. But I don't know. I feel like in today's world, everything is toxic. It's like everything you eat an apple, you're going to get cancer type thing. Everything is toxic. Everybody's idea of toxic is different.
Right.
And that plays the role in everything. I think something that I may find toxic, somebody else may find not. How, I don't know, and vice versa. But yeah, I think social media has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Definitely puts it front and center more.
Okay, so this is from Women's Health, and these are, hang on a second. So these are the 24 signs you're in a toxic relationship and need to let go.
That's the same article I have.
Is it? All right, so we'll take turns on this one, Michelle. Okay, I'll read number 1. Your significant other always finds something wrong with you.
100% toxicity. Like if your partner can't give you some positive attributes or is always tearing you down, 100% toxic relationship.
Megan?
Their name starts with an M.
And ends with a T, right?
I mean, or an N.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I think when wait, Michelle, what was yours?
Oh, I didn't even read the second one. I was just agreeing with it, saying that if your
Oh,
partner can't lift you up or
if
constantly
it's
finds
never
things
their
wrong with
fault,
you,
if they cannot accept responsibility for any of their actions, good or bad, it's never their fault. That's like such a toxic. That's just a toxic shithole of a
Mhm.
yeah, it
person.
really is. And that's what one of them here is they strip away your self-esteem. Like
Yes, yes,
Yep.
red flag, run.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna tear you down, and and they're trying to make themselves sound better of a person than you are.
They step
So
on you to make themselves feel better.
and kick you to the
Exactly.
curb and step
Yeah,
on you and treat you like shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Number 3, there's a clear imbalance of power. Definitely.
They
Yeah,
wear
for sure. It's
crowns and
called a
have a badge.
partnership.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, Meg.
Oh no, I was just saying they wear a crown. To them, they wear
Oh,
a crown.
yeah, it's called a partnership for a reason. There should be
Yeah.
an equal balance of power and it shouldn't
Oh,
be
absolutely. There
one
should
over the
be.
other.
I feel like that could go financially too.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I
Hmm.
agree.
Yeah, that was what in my past that was a big thing because he was very well known, very he's successful. I don't even want to say a real estate agent. I don't know what he does, but he used his money as a power, and he still does to this day. It's very narcissistic, very toxic.
Yeah, huge red flag.
Yeah.
Definitely. Michelle, next one.
The next one is they're controlling and excessively jealous. This is a massive red flag that I feel like I
Hmm.
see a lot with couples that want to talk about their relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Control, and I guess a lot of it is jealousy. If you're not if you're not giving your partner the right attention, and then they're going to be jealous that you're drifting elsewhere. So,
Right.
and then that's where where you get into the whole control thing. You're afraid to let go. You're afraid for them to go out of the house to be able to live to do their day-to-day whatever, because you're fear of them maybe going to meet somebody else, or laughing and joking with a coworker, and they think, oh my god, that crossed the line of relationship.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag that I will never get into a relationship with someone who's either trying to be controlling or is a jealous
Hmm.
person. I just can't. Like, if you don't trust me, there's no basis for this
Right.
relationship and I'm out.
I
Hmm.
think there's a little bit of like there's a healthy boundary line of jealous that I find, I don't know, it's kind of sexy, it's kind of like attractive, but it's a very thin line. Somebody who cares about you and makes that known is I guess what I'm saying, compared to outright jealousy.
Right.
I've
Hmm.
dealt with people that the jealousy went as far as my kids, and
Yeah.
that's such a
I'm
red
sorry,
flag.
kids come first. And
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you can't just sit there and sit there and say, I'm jealous because you're hanging out with your kids tonight. What bullshit is that?
Right,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My kids come first. You come second. I love
Mhm.
you, but guess what? You have to understand. You're going to accept me. You accept the whole package.
Mhm. Mhm.
For me, I got
Absolutely.
6 kids, so you better accept that package.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. Number 5, you're not practicing self care.
Yeah, I
That's
think that's
huge.
huge.
That is huge.
I mean,
You're
is
not
it because they're
practicing.
not letting you?
No, I
That's
feel like it's like a depression. Like you get beat down, so it's such a toxic environment. You just become, you don't really give a shit about yourself, health care. I've been there. You just quit caring. Self
yeah,
care
the
is not on the front burner.
the article was really talking about like if you're neglecting yourself for any reason, like if your partner is needy or
Oh,
like dropping your priorities off your schedule, stuff like that. That's what the
Hmm.
article was talking about.
Okay. Go with number 6, Michelle.
You keep waiting or hoping for them to change. This is number one, the biggest thing that I see with people that I talk to. They are just holding on to this glimmer of hope that their partner is going to change. And it's been years.
Baby,
nothing.
baby, I can change for you. I love you. Trust me, I understand the problem. I will change. I will work so hard to make this work for you.
Yeah. And it's like their partner could be doing something so small to give them that little glimmer of hope that they're changing. But in actuality, like they're not. It's just giving you that little taste so that you keep staying with them or you keep coming back for more.
They dangle the little carrot, you know?
Yeah.
Just
And it's
enough to keep you strung along.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so interesting too. I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast the other day, and she was talking to Dr. Amy Shea about hunger and cravings. That's what the episode was about. And they all of a sudden started talking about toxic relationships because they were saying, like, we all get addicted to things in life, foods,
Right.
social media, gambling, toxic relationships, because they intermittently reward us with this dopamine hit. So as soon as we get this dopamine, like our brain explodes and then we crave it again. So your partner, like we were just saying, gives you those intermittent rewards just to keep you coming back and craving more. So they know that love, attention, affection is going to keep you coming back. And that's why a lot of people end up staying.
Right. Or
So-
fear.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these because there's 24 of them, but you feel very insecure. And then there's your significant other never takes responsibility. Understand that one completely. You know, been through that. You know, they don't take it's always my fault. It's always been my fault in relationship, my marriage. I was always the one to blame. My spouse never took credit and said, hey, you know what? I was actually wrong here. I've never once heard that. You know, and I look back at all the years of our marriage, I've never heard that. You know?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And then we've got your partner is constantly stonewalling you.
What is that?
That's where they stop listening to you and they don't want to say, if you want to talk to them like about an issue, they just completely, they don't respond. They walk away. They don't let you talk about things that are important to you.
Stonewalling.
Red flag for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Your family and friends are concerned.
That's a big one that people should recognize more.
People see more from the outside than on the inside.
Yeah, it's so easy to be wrapped up in your current situation and you can't see certain things that other people can see. So if people that truly love you and care about you are saying they're concerned, that should raise some hairs on your arms and really take that into consideration.
Yeah.
You don't have the type of trust you should have.
Or ever had.
Should be full trust.
It should be full 100% trust.
You often feel worse when you're with them. It's all about self-esteem by, you know, bringing you down.
That's a good one because
Yeah.
I went through that where I literally was more miserable with him than away from him. Like I was happier. Like I couldn't wait to get to work. I couldn't wait to get to the ball field. I was miserable.
Yeah.
I felt that. Like just physically, I just felt like, ugh. God,
Yeah, that's a sign right there.
it's weighing me down.
And that brings us to number 13. You feel drained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind
they,
of go
like,
hand in hand here.
life out of you.
True.
Your partner is always offering constructive criticism, even when you don't ask.
Yep.
Lydia, you're quiet here.
I know. I'm just trying to soak it all in
Oh,
because
okay.
Do
I
any
feel
of
like
them resonate with you?
my big thing is I had like, I know it wasn't like a relationship, but it was a friendship that was very toxic. So when I think of toxic relationships, I immediately think of that friendship. So I'm viewing this right now, like through all the stuff I went through in that friendship and not so much
Right.
relationship. So I'm like, I don't know if what I have to say.
You're
really means-
self-absorbing.
Yes.
No, it's all toxic is toxic.
But
Yeah.
I don't think we talk about those toxic friendships
And
enough. You know what I mean?
no,
Like we're always, oh, this
absolutely.
relationship is terrible. But why are
It's
you still
always
friends with that
relationship.
person?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I've
The
known
next-
him since grade school, so it's kind of hard not to, or you know what I mean? So it's like, it's still, I mean, toxic relationship is not just necessarily,
Significant
boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, that love relationship. It could be friend relationship. It could be
Family
parents,
member.
child. Yes. I mean, toxic relationships is
professional
not
or-
just about love.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
That's what actually my next episode on my personal podcast is all about. Like I just separated it. So the second one's going to be all about toxic relationships and ways to get out of it. And that does not include just your significant other. It is
Mhm.
friendships and
Yeah.
family members.
Okay. You don't feel like yourself around them.
for sure.
And then they
You
don't
walk
bring,
on eggshells constantly.
yeah. And then number 16, they don't bring out the best in you.
That's the number one thing I think you should look for in a partner is somebody that brings out the best in you and you do that for them as well.
Maybe
Like that's
Yeah.
you want to be a better person.
exactly.
Yeah.
Number 17, you don't have a positive feeling about the future.
Huge red flag.
Huge.
I know
Yep.
people in that situation now, but they're
Yeah.
still sticking with that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with them, but I don't see us being together very long. Why are you still with them?
Why are you wasting time?
Yes. Valuable time. 18, they like to play games.
Yep.
So no mousetrap?
No
mouth-
mousetrap.
no mousetrap.
I was
What
trying to
is
think of
it?
a really
Oh,
good game, and I was
Operation?
like, "What's the last good game I
I
played?"
love
And I'm like, when did I
Mousetrap.
play Mousetrap?
I was trying to think of Operation.
Oh, yeah, that
I was
one.
thinking of escape room.
Nice.
Number 19, your partner never remembers your schedule. It's always about them.
Narcissistic, self-absorbed. Gotta go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then number 20, they're always blaming other people for their problems. It's always somebody else's fault.
It's never their fault.
Yeah.
No,
Can't be my fault.
never.
Yeah.
If this person would have actually answered the phone, we would have, I would not have done this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your number 21, your significant other is super competitive with you.
Yeah, I'm a super competitive person by nature, though, so I feel like that one is kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, but you should be supporting each other's goals, not like trying to compete.
And
You know?
yeah, that's a yeah.
Like you can have a healthy competitive what am I trying? Like balance, but at the end of the day you should be supporting each other and lifting each other up.
I agree.
Right.
Because you got to be each other's, right hand person.
Right.
It's like
No matter what.
you're the yin to their yang.
Mhm.
All right. Number 22, you feel like you do all the work in your relationship.
That was me. 100%.
And number 23, you're always making excuses for their bad behavior.
Amen.
I did that
So much.
so,
I
for
was
so long.
Always having to make an excuse
Yep. Same.
to everybody, friends, family, my own kids. Like I was always making an excuse, and that was
Yeah.
the worst.
It is. It's a sickening feeling.
It really is.
And number 24, the relationship is borderline abusive.
Let me add to that. If it is straight abusive, no matter what that looks like, physical, mental, emotional, get out.
Yes.
Just a little bit of abuse is still abuse. It's
It
still
is.
100% abuse. Get the
It,
fuck
because
out.
it leads to
Yeah.
bigger abuse.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's like a white lie becomes a bigger lie later.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You should
Bingo.
never
Absolutely.
be abused in any way, shape, or form. Ever.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
All right.
No.
So let's bring our guest on. She has been in toxic relationships and she wants to talk about her story. We're going to bring on Jocelyn. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Love on the
Thank
Rocks,
you.
Jocelyn.
Hi.
Jocelyn.
Thank you for
Hey,
having
hey.
me.
Thanks
I'm
for being
excited
here.
about this. I'm excited about this subject too. I feel like everyone has been in a toxic relationship. And like Lydia mentioned too, everyone has been in toxic friendships too, but they usually tend to keep those people around and then are so quick to want to break up with their boyfriend or whatever. But yes, definitely have been in some toxic relationships. Right now that y'all were going through that list, my first serious relationship, literally everything on that list was what I experienced in that relationship. Um, and I do believe like he must have been narcissistic. There was mental abuse, emotional abuse. Um, Everything had to be like my fault. Everything was my fault. He never took accountability. So all of the things that y'all mentioned, it's just like, yes, that's definitely what I went through in that relationship.
Oh, I'm so sorry you had to experience that, but thank God you were past it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get out of it?
Because so this relationship, just let me even tell you the age. I was 17 and he was 24. So just already with the age, you can already tell that was going to be a toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like a family friend. So obviously I was trusting of this person. And now that I'm older, I realize that usually narcissistic people, they tend to gravitate towards like empathetic people, like people who are more empaths or like compassionate people, people who always want to see the best in people, which that's who I naturally am. It's like, I always want to see your potential. I always want to pour into you. So I feel like narcissistic people tend to take advantage of that situation.
They don't
And I
want y'all
feel
to see their bullshit.
exactly.
You're absolutely right.
Well, I think it's they
Exactly.
gravitate towards people that feel a lot because they can make them feel the worst.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's like it shoots down your self-esteem. So now you have low self-esteem and now you feel like I need this person. This is the only person that will love me. And he would tell me that all the time, that no one will love me. He made me slowly kind of turn against my family. He didn't I'm a twin, so he didn't allow me I know it's crazy to even say that, but he didn't allow me to even hang out with my twin. She was single at that time and we were obviously young, right? We just turned 18.
Yeah.
That's the age where you want to go out and hang out with your friends, go out to college parties, or you start, try to sneak into bars or clubs or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, he shut it down real quick. He didn't allow me to hang out with her. He said that she was a bad influence. So he slowly started to turn me against her. And then it slowly started to transition into my family doesn't love me. They would never do what he would do for me. And eventually, there was a point that I was just fighting with my family all the time, to the point where they didn't kick me out, but we had an argument and they kind of said, if you don't like that, like, then you shouldn't be here, but not like, oh, get out of my house, right? But so kind of insinuating that. And I ran to his house and obviously this was like, yes, right? Like my plan is working.
Right.
And, he took that and really made it bigger than what it was. And made me feel like my family doesn't love me. And see, I told you, no one's gonna love you like I love you. See, like no one cares about you like I care about you.
They play that game with you.
Yes. So just like on the list, like they play games, they make you think that everything is your fault and they're right, and they're the victim and not you. And so yeah. And another thing too is I am bisexual, so he always put shame on my sexuality, and there was a lot of times that he would talk down on me.
Oh, you're just going through a phase.
Yeah. In the beginning, which is crazy, in the beginning he was fine with who I was.
Of course.
I was open with who I was, and he was fine with it. He thought it was like fun, like how some guys may see it. But once I was in the relationship, he was very, very jealous. Like I couldn't have friends that were girls and I couldn't have guy friends. So it's like, I don't have friends. Can't even hang out with my sister. I literally don't have anyone but this one person. So, and then obviously he made it seem like I really, really need him. So that's why I stayed in that relationship for a long time, because I really did feel like no one else is going to love me. Like, I don't have friends, I don't have family. Like, who's gonna be there for me if I do break up with this person? But
What was
like
your
on that
turning point?
my turning point was, there was one time we had went out to a party or something, and he was drinking, and on the way back I told him like, maybe I should drive because, you know, you're drunk. And he started to get super aggressive, and he was driving so crazy, and I was getting scared. So I'm like, no, like, you need to be careful, like, please. And the whole ride, you know, going back to his house, I was just like, please God, like, just let me get to his house safely. Like,
Oh my
once I'm at his
Wow.
house, like, he can just go to sleep and I'll somehow sneak away. And whenever we got back to his house, we went inside, and my best friend had texted me, which was a girl, which, once again, since he shamed me about even being bisexual and didn't trust me, he blew up about that. She literally said, "Hey, doll." Not like, "Hey, baby," or nothing. Like, she said, "Hey, doll." Like, every girl talks to their girlfriends like, "Hey,
Right.
doll," or "Hey, love," or whatever it is.
Got little pet names for your friends.
Right.
Exactly. So she texted me, "Hey, doll," and I didn't think it would be a big deal, but he was already intoxicated and aggressive.
And staring at your phone, clearly.
Exactly. He yanked my phone and saw that, and he threw it. And he claims that I tripped, but he definitely pushed me down, and I fell on the floor, and he hovered over me. And can I curse on here? Can I
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. He pointed at me, like, on my forehead, like, over me, and he was like, "You fucking lesbian," and like, just like doing that to me.
no.
Wow.
And I was, you know, crying. And he had already pushed me, and I'm like, you know, like, what is he about to do? Like, is he
Right.
about to, you know, actually be
Oh my
physical?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it's not like that. Like, you know, she's my best friend. I'm loyal to you. Like, there was, like, I had already proven myself that I was a loyal person. Like, there's literally no one in my life. Like,
Right.
my only best friend, I don't even hang out with her. She sometimes texts me to check on me. Like, I've done everything to prove to him, to my relationship. And he was being super, super crazy. So I was just like, "Can you please just, like, take me home? Just take me home, please, please." I was begging him to take me home. And in the moment, I was surprised that he was like, "Yes, like, yeah, like, I'm gonna fucking take you. You're fucking lesbian. Like, I don't want to fucking be with you. You're a slut. Like, no one's ever gonna want to marry you, a fucking lesbian." And during that time, since I was young, I was partaking in recreational drugs. So he was like, "You fucking pothead," and this and that. And I was just like, okay, as soon as we go outside, I'm not gonna get in the car. I'm gonna run away.
Yeah.
So the fact that I even had to run away, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So we're walking out, and he's going in the car, and I'm opening the door, like, if I'm gonna, you know, go in the car. And then I just close it, and I just start running. So I'm running away, and it's, you know, in the middle of the night. It's like probably like 3 a.m, and I'm just like running, and it's dark, and I don't even know where I'm gonna run to. I'm just gonna run and hide, and then call my sister or something. So I'm running, and then I hear him running behind me, calling my name, but like laughing about it. And I turn. He lived in a trailer park during that time, so I turned on this little street, and I was hiding behind a tree. And I was just like, "Please, God, like, just don't let him come, like, looking for me.
Yeah.
Like, and I called my twin right away, and I was whispering like, "Hey, can you pick me up, please? I'm scared. Like, he's chasing me, and he's being crazy. Like, please, like, come pick me up." So she was like, "Okay, like, I'm on my way." And so I'm hiding behind this tree, and he just starts calling my name. So he was Hispanic, and he spoke Spanish, so he was saying my name in Spanish. So he was like, but like, in a funny way or something, I don't know. He was just like, "Jocelyn."
Oh,
That's creepy as fuck.
Jocelyn. and I was just
Yeah,
like, I
wow.
was so scared. I was like shaking. I was literally shaking and scared and just like, fuck. I'm sorry. Like, what is he about to do? And I saw him getting closer and closer. So I started running, and it's literally like in the movies. And I've always thought about like I need to write a book or a movie or about this, but I started running, and just like in the scary movies, somehow I trip and fall in mud. So I'm over here. I
Oh,
fell
God.
I know I fell in the ditch, and I was wearing white pants, mind you.
Of
So
course.
I fell in the ditch. Now I'm all muddy, and I'm trying to like crawl out of the ditch, and he's still, he's not even running. He's being like Michael Myers. He's just walking slow, like Yoselin.
Oh, that's creepy as
Like,
shit.
Oh, wow. That is.
No, that's creepy.
so I run to the nearest trailer, and I just start banging on the door, like, please, someone, like, let me in, let me in. And I'm obviously like crying. I look a mess, and I feel so bad because I woke up a family, and they looked really startled, I'm sure. And they let me in. I was like, please, like, let me in. Like, my boyfriend, he's being crazy, and he's chasing after me. Like, and so then he starts knocking on the door, and I was, I run to it was a family, so it was the wife, the husband, and a little kid. So I run to the wife, and I'm like, please, like, don't let him in, please don't let him in. And the husband opens the door, and I'm like, no, please don't let him in. So he starts talking to the husband and trying to act like normal, like nothing, like, oh, I don't know why she's being like that, like she just ran out the house and she's just like being crazy. I don't know what's wrong with her, like I need to come get her, like she shouldn't be over here scaring y'all. Like, so now
Master
he's flipping it.
manipulator.
Yes,
Yeah.
now he's flipping it on me, saying that I'm the crazy one. And I was like, no, he was I don't know, I don't know what he was gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna hit me. Like, I had to run away from him, and I was like, just please don't let him inside. And he just kept knocking and knocking, like, and just acting like nothing. And I guess he saw my sister's car, and he left. So as soon as I got into my sister's car, that day we had went to sushi, and I will never eat shrimp again. We had shrimp tacos, and as soon as I got in the car, I was so scared that I just started throwing up, like vomit, like just
Oh,
what is it called whenever you like The
Projectile.
Exorcist, projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
I was projectile vomiting,
I
like
am
The
so
Exorcist.
sorry.
And I was
I
trying to
hate
hold
when
it
you do
in
that.
because I didn't want to dirty my sister's car. So I was trying to hold it in, but I was even, pushing my hand like close to my mouth, and it was still just like spreading.
wow. Crazy.
And my sister was pissed. She was like, we're gonna go to his house, we're gonna fuck him up, like fuck that. And I was just like, no, like I was so scared that in that moment I don't want revenge, I don't want justice, I just
just
want
wanna
to
get
leave
out.
and
Yeah.
get out of this situation. So
Yeah.
that was a big turning point. But even then, after that, I went back.
What?
Girl.
Yes, after that I went back, because it was like that addiction, like on the list. It's like you
Right.
start to
Got
get
it.
addicted, even though I didn't feel good around him. But for some reason, it's like you build this addiction, and I'm like a routine habit kind of person. So it's like he was so in my life. He was my life,
Yeah.
He was my whole
That
routine.
you thought he
Yeah.
was your life.
Right.
Yeah, obviously that I thought, right? But
Yeah.
and low self-esteem, no confidence. I wasn't social, so everything was revolved around him. So
Well, and
after
he was
that,
a master manipulator, so I don't blame you
Right.
for going
Yeah.
back or
Yeah.
for feeling that way or thinking any of those things because he
Yeah.
purposefully did that to you.
That's
Right.
exactly what he
for
was out
sure.
to do.
All right, guys. You guys are watching Love on the Rocks. We're talking about toxic relationships. So why do we stay? Our guest today is Jocelyn. She's been in a toxic relationship, telling her story. If you have a question or comment, give us a call. 845-442-LOVE. 845-442-5683. So you said that you went back into that relationship and you stuck with it. What was the point that you finally said enough is enough?
Okay, so after that incident, we probably didn't talk for about 2 or 3 weeks. And it's crazy because, like I said, since I had no self-esteem, I didn't know my value at all. I didn't love myself. I was the one begging him back. So I was the one begging him to see
What?
him. Yes, I know. I was
That's what they
crazy,
do,
I guess.
though.
I don't,
That's what they do.
yeah.
Don't blame
Yeah,
yourself for
I
that.
get that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because before him, I didn't understand why people stayed in abusive relationships. And when I
Right.
was in that relationship, I was just like, okay, I really cannot judge someone or something that I don't understand or that I've never been through, because now that I'm in this situation, I'm obviously doing what the other people are doing too, staying in the relationship, going back.
Right.
And so we started talking again, and we met up, and he was like, I will never do that again, blah blah blah. And pretty much, to for us to get back together. And he told me, like, you know what, I think it was like maybe a month or two. It wasn't 2 or 3 weeks, it was like a month or two. And he told me that he went out the first week and he met a girl and he had sex with her. So that broke my heart, right? So that broke my heart, and I had gone out and had been with someone else too, but in the moment that broke my heart, I didn't speak up about what I had done.
Mhm.
And then the next day, I told him, like, okay, if we're gonna start over, I obviously want to be honest. And while we were single and broken up, I also went out and I messed around with someone. So then he used this against me again and said, "See, you're a
Even
slut." Blah
though
blah.
he was the
Even
one
though,
that was in the fault, even you both were in fault, but
Mhm.
he wouldn't take blame for what he did and
Mhm.
accused you of saying it's okay for me, but it's not okay for you.
only he could do
Well, there's no
that.
Exactly.
fault if you guys were single. If you were broken up,
No
Exactly. We
one's
were
at
both
fault.
single.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
well,
there's nobody
Yeah,
at
we were both
fault.
single. I thought we were never going to get back together after that happened. And then even that, like, me begging him, he wasn't taking me back. So I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to start to move on. And obviously I was young, I thought that I should use people as distractions, so
mhm.
I did, and I ended up messing around with someone. And me being honest just backfired on me, and I was just, and that's
Did it
kind of,
though?
no, I guess not. If you really think about it, it didn't backfire because
It was
obviously,
the turning point, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason, and
Too.
sometimes the universe puts you in these ugly situations so you can be like, no, I need to value myself.
Exactly.
Like, you need to step up as a person and work on yourself, because this is what you're gonna get. And I
Exactly.
I grew up with very toxic parents. They had a toxic marriage, abusive marriage, and I was always like, I never want to have that kind of relationship. I never want to be like my parents. But
We
because
talk
I,
about that in a previous episode. We talked
Yeah.
about, you look at your parents and they're supposed to be your role models, but then you don't,
You
you
end up
always
falling
say,
into the same patterns.
Right.
And it's only because you haven't broken the cycle yet, because you're still
Exactly.
holding on to some kind of anger towards your parents. And during that time, I clearly had daddy issues because I was 17 dating a 24-year-old, and clearly there was some daddy issues, unresolved daddy issues there, which now I have resolved and I've healed through that.
Good for
But
you.
yeah, but
That's huge.
in those moments, it's like, if you don't heal through what you feel towards your parents, or what you're still resenting or
It's gonna
holding on to that
ruin.
anger, exactly, it's just going to ruin you, and you're never going to heal through it, and you're going to be repeating the same cycles.
Exactly.
what would you say to people that are in your situation now?
I would say, definitely take time for yourself. I never did this before too, and it's on that list too, about not having self-care. I think that's a really, really big thing. When you truly care about yourself, when you truly pour into yourself, um, all of these negative toxic things start to fall off, and you start to clear those things out, and you start to walk in your purpose. So I think definitely work on yourself, find yourself, value yourself, find love for yourself. It's like you fight so much for love in a relationship, but how hard are you trying to fight for your own love, you know? So I think focus on yourself and focus on loving yourself, and naturally that person who's going to be meant for you will be attracted.
For sure.
Lydia,
great
where
advice.
where do you see her situation and what she went through? Is that, I mean, can you relate to it? I mean, do you see? I mean, should she have gone a different path, you think?
I think there's no one way to go out of a relationship like that. So to say like, oh, here's the blueprint of how to get out of your toxic relationship is never going to happen, you know,
Right.
because, you know, he could have called you like forgiving him the next day, and you probably still would have ended up back there again too, you know. So you never know which way people are going to go also.
Yeah, but you know what? His karma is he ended up marrying a girl with kids, and her daughter name is Jocelyn. So now he will forever think about me.
That is funny. Let me ask you this. Was your sister or family or any best friends, were they genuinely concerned for you in that relationship?
Definitely. They all knew it was a toxic relationship. They try to step in, they try to talk to me, but because of this picture or this narrative that he painted, that I believed, the dream that he told me, I believe that they were just against us. Like, it's gonna be me and you against the world. Like,
Well, you're Romeo and
always, you
Juliet.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly. I thought it was because they didn't want me to have love, because that's what he made me believe. So, but no, they were really concerned. They would bring it up all the time, but even then I wasn't emotionally stable enough to be able to take criticism and be able to take accountability that I am putting myself in the situation. So every time they would bring it up, I was so emotionally unstable and emotionally relied on him that I wouldn't be able to take it. I couldn't handle it. I would literally just run away and cry and just run to him. Like, this is what they said. Like, they don't want us together. And he would be like, see, I told you. I told you they don't want love for you. Like, you know, so he would continue to feed into that, and I continued to as well.
Yeah, I just knew that was one of the things on the list, so I wondered what your take was while you were in it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Yeah, literally everything
understandable.
on that list is what I experienced in that relationship.
That's wild.
And how did you take that to your next relationship? What made you, what was different in your next relationship?
In the next relationship, I thought after that, because of how loyal I was and how dependent I was on this person, when I was single after that, I kind of became a little bit bitter. I was just like, you know what? Fuck love. Like, I don't need a man. I don't need to be in a relationship. I obviously still didn't really heal through it for the next relationship. So in the next relationship, I was very like, if that person did something wrong, like, well, I'm leaving. Like, oh, bye. Like, I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, you know. So, so then I kind of started to be toxic in the next relationship because of how avoidant I was trying to be of those emotions. Once again, I was just running away from my emotions.
Yeah.
And I didn't properly heal the right way. I just kept using people as distractions. And it obviously carried to the next relationship. And the next relationship became toxic too, to the point where he almost started to become abusive too. There was one situation, we were drunk, and we were fighting or something, and I was in his room, and he didn't want to let me leave. And I don't know how, but I don't even know how we ended up in this situation. But I just remember, I feel like sometimes I block a lot of my memories because of how traumatic things are. But I don't know how we ended up at this point. Yeah. And I was laying on the bed, and he had his like his arm like this, like almost like his elbow, like on my neck, because
Wow.
he didn't want to let me leave. And I guess he like snapped out of it and like he let me leave, but I got in my car and he was like trying to chase my car. So once again, because I didn't heal and I still didn't truly value myself, I was very, like I said, like I don't need anyone, blah blah blah. I ended up in another toxic relationship. So
Oh, wow.
so I've had like 3 toxic relationships. Then that's whenever I was like, okay, I really, really need to heal myself and find myself. And that's when I started my spiritual journey. And I feel like ever since then, I started to really pour into myself and love myself. And now I really, really, truly know what I want in a relationship. And I'm actually going through a breakup right now because of how firm my boundaries and how I just
Good for
don't
you.
want anyone
Yeah,
to
there you go.
cross
Good
those
job.
lines anymore. And it's like,
That's
I really,
amazing.
really know what I want in a relationship. I now know that I want a marriage. And
Don't settle. Don't settle.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to settle because of everything that I've been through. And I feel like
Right.
it's going to be pointless if I went through all of this and I still didn't learn anything from it. So
And backtrack to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. And if you don't heal from past things, that's exactly what people do. They jump from the exact same relationship or type of person, and that's the repetitive cycle that you do.
yeah, you continue to still attract those toxic people.
Exactly.
For
It's your
sure.
comfort.
All right.
That's what you know.
I'm going to ask you to stay in the chat with us, Jocelyn. We're going to bring on our next guest. She's a recurring guest, actually. This is Megan's friend, Crystal. Crystal, welcome back to Love on the Rocks.
Thanks for having me.
Finally, I couldn't figure out like why.
Yeah, we were having some
Sorry.
technical difficulties for a while
Okay.
there.
Hey, but
You
you
made
finally
it.
made it. Yes.
Yeah.
Finally made it.
So, Crystal, you've been in a toxic relationship. Is that correct?
A few, to say the least. I think I mentioned last time that if you were to line up like all the guys that I've dated, there's like no similarities except for like some big red flags and a whole lot of toxicness amongst all of them. They all gave me some really good stories. But I find it interesting that Jocelyn was pointing out like, oh, my parents had a rocky relationship. And then you were saying like, yeah, we talked about this on a previous episode. And I couldn't help but think like, so I'm a big nerd and I do a lot of reading and all this other good nerdy stuff. I had read once upon a time that the reason why we find ourselves continuously in these toxic relationships is because that's our comfort zone, because we probably grew up with some sort of toxicity in the home from our parents, or our needs weren't met in some way, but that's normal to us. So we chase that like adrenaline rush of the toxic relationship. And once I figured that out, it was like, oh, maybe I do need to change some things. Like, while I'm not the toxic one, I might be part of the problem because I keep choosing and staying with these people.
Right.
And giving them chance after chance after chance. And I've heard all of the excuses and I've made all of the excuses for some of these men too. So, you know, I am just as guilty. But
what are the excuses?
So the one that I hear from my guy friends the most is it's cheaper to keep her. They just love throwing that around.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a douche.
Right.
What a
Other
douche.
people have had living situations that weren't that weren't super stable, so that was their living situation. Or you know, you run into these people that financially depend on their significant other, and that's what keeps them coming back, is because they don't ever seek that true independence from that toxic person that they're financially reliable on. So I mean, like, I've heard it all.
The last two, though, I see that a lot in people.
A lot. And
It's
there are some that
heartbreaking.
like I just can't begin to fathom anymore. Like, a very good friend of mine was dating this guy that none of us liked, but she didn't care. And kept making all these excuses for him. And there were some things that he did that were unforgivable. And like, I've dated some bad guys, but like this, I was like, ooh, okay. Like, I am not the worst one here. Like, she made more exceptions than I ever did. And I couldn't figure out like, why would you stay with that? And that's when I was at the point I'm like, well, at least I healed a little bit.
Yeah.
If I can
Yeah.
look at that and see.
Oh yeah.
Not
We do have a
to-
caller on the phone. So let's see.
Gentlemen.
Let's let it get on here. And you are on Love on the Rocks. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devin, and I'm actually just calling to say hi to Michelle. I live in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
As I turn bright red.
Oh, you are
What
so
up, Devin?
I do believe she's blushing.
Look at her.
So I was laughing earlier because he texted me and said I'd totally be in a toxic relationship for you.
Aw.
Is it a green
So
flag that he
cute.
knows that's his red flag?
I think so. Solid green flag right there.
I'm pushing for you.
When are you
But
coming
yeah,
to Nashville? That's the question.
I definitely am hoping to get there again soon. I love Nashville. I love Franklin.
On a Monday night.
And I definitely, I wish I could have seen you last time. I was kind of on a time constraint, but next time I definitely hope to see you.
Perfect.
Devin, have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Oh, jeepers, putting me on the spot.
Well, you called the show, so of course.
Yeah, it's the topic.
Did he just say
Yeah.
jeepers? I think
Sure
I
did.
like this guy.
He's adorable.
So I probably, I mean, I would say probably yes. I mean, it was like a long time ago during college, and you know, I've been, yeah. So I mean, I've been single for a good amount of time, but yeah, during college, it was, I mean, that's probably when a lot of people have their, you know, most toxic relationships. But
What was the biggest
yeah.
red flag, you think?
Yeah.
oh gosh, I mean, probably from the beginning, we just disagreed on like everything, and we chose to not talk about it, and it was almost purely physical, and it was just destined to die. Like, and we just ignored it.
That's fair. It happens.
There you go. And so you want to be in a toxic relationship with Michelle.
Well, I tell you what,
Michelle's so red right now.
yeah, you are pretty red, I will say. But
Okay.
no,
So
I
if you guys
was
want to
definitely-
see how red Michelle really is, there you go.
Bright red. Thank you, Devin.
But yeah, no, I met Michelle. I met Michelle when she came down to Gulf Shores, and she's a hoot. We still talk, and you know, hopefully we can see each other again soon. Oh wow, she is red.
Yeah, she is.
I'm rooting for y'all.
It would be nothing. It would not be toxic at all. I think we're both. Yeah, we're just gonna
Your
leave it
love
at
would not be on the rocks.
No.
that. Distance is the only thing.
No,
Distance is the only problem.
And it's not that far.
Yeah,
It's really
It's true.
not.
it's
true.
not. No, it's definitely not. No, I mean, yeah, you seem pretty cool.
You seem pretty cool.
I am cool. Get it together.
It is cool.
You seem cool.
She is cool. I would not have her as my co-host if she
That's
was
right.
cool, right?
Hang up on his ass
All right.
later.
You're out of here. Bye.
Hell.
Thanks for calling
Yeah, thanks for calling. Thanks, but no thanks.
and making me blush.
Thanks for calling in.
Dear diary, somebody just.
Dear diary.
Daniel Olivero.
Hey, our buddy from Twitch is chiming in. You want to read that one, Megan?
Can a daughter be in a toxic relationship with their mom where they want to get into verbal spats and be rebellious in their teen years? Why do they stay? Well, because one person is still dependent on the other. The kid has nowhere to go. I might not be the best one to answer this one.
Now, that's not true that the kid has nowhere to go. There are some kids who move out very young, but I think we tell each other and we tell kids like, oh, that's your parent, you respect them. That's your parent, you respect them. Not saying that, like, hey, sometimes it's okay to have boundaries with your parents.
It's boundaries are perfectly okay to have with parents,
Mhm.
and if that's
And with
crossed, or if
children.
that's yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think just because a parent is a parent doesn't mean that that gives you full reign to treat your kid like
However you want.
however you
Right.
want. Like there's boundaries, and they're still a person, and they deserve just as much respect as their parent does.
Parents are supposed to be a role model for their kids.
Right, right.
Well, and teenage years are tough. I mean, I have a friend going through it with her stepdaughter right now who's a teenager. It's a tumultuous
Teenagers
time.
don't ever have problems. What are you talking about?
It is an extremely tumultuous time for both
Right.
people, the
It
parents
really
and
is.
the kid.
So
Yeah,
I see that
really
situation
is.
from the outside on a daily basis during the school year because I work
Yeah.
with teenagers. And let me tell you, oh my God, some of the way these kids talk to their parents, I'm like, oh man, like I would not be walking if I treated my parents that way.
Mhm.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, like I was saying, boundaries with parents are okay. Talking to your parents however you want, no, not necessarily okay.
Right.
No.
Right. That's
But
what I'm
those
saying.
teenage
It goes
years.
both ways.
Oh,
Parents need to
Right.
lay boundaries down as well.
For
They do.
sure.
kids are crazy.
Absolutely.
Savages. all of them.
Jocelyn, your thoughts
Yes.
on that one?
Yeah, I can definitely agree that parents can be toxic too, or the kid can be toxic towards the parents.
Right.
Sometimes, like how she said, you might see them talking crazy, but you might not know how they're being treated to feel like comfortable enough to talk to the parents like that. They might be getting, disrespected in a different way, and then as teenagers, now we're gonna lash out and disrespect you on how they know, which is talking mess, or an emotional abuse, I guess, or verbal abuse. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
What does a child do, or what does a parent do when they're in a toxic relationship? Who do they turn to? What's a safe zone, when you're dealing with family members?
Not other family members.
Not other family
Mhm.
members.
Not other family
Wholeheartedly
members.
agree.
Yeah.
Maybe if
Because
they
then
can,
Yeah, they'll think
Go
they're
ahead.
trying to help, and then they'll say something to somebody, and then it just turns into a huge mess. So, like, whatever it is, just don't talk to other family members about it. Like, talk to your therapist, call your best friend, whatever. Anybody who will listen that is not a family member and is not going to run back and or try to fix the situation either.
Right. I
Mhm.
agree.
yeah, sometimes it might feel like if you go vent to one family member and then you vent to the other one, and then now it's like you're ganging up on that other person,
The
and
other
to
one,
make that
right.
other person like, no, they're wrong and I'm right, so I
Mhm.
don't think that's fair either.
yeah,
Right.
no,
I
that's
think it's
great
okay to
advice.
vent. It's okay to vent, but I don't think it's okay to try to um turn family members against each other.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
do
and I
so
do
more
think,
often than none. So,
Mm-hmm.
very
right,
Which
and
I
if you
think
can,
is why it's just better not to talk to family members about anything like that entirely. You've got some like me that would try to diffuse the situation and help, and then you've
Or
got some that
sometimes they see
just
them with rose-colored glasses, like they're looking
right,
at that person like,
right.
that's
Yeah.
why
and
you
if
don't
you
talk
can,
to family members about politics. Okay.
Definitely don't.
I will tell. Yeah,
I don't talk to anybody about politics.
I don't talk. Yeah,
So
It's a
I'm
minefield out
currently
there.
I'm currently not speaking to a family member right now because of some drama that they wanted to start with me, and it was late at night. I was tired. I had a long day, and they were trying to bring another family member into it, saying that they had said something in particular, and I didn't believe it. And I was like, okay, let's figure this out right now and squash this. And I put us all in a group chat, and I'm like, screenshots, this is what he said, tell me, is this true? If not, figure it out and leave me out of the drama. And because I ended it so quick, because that was my boundary,
Mhm.
now I'm not being spoken to. But you know what, I don't got any more drama.
All right.
that's good.
they're
They
lost.
gonna start with me again.
Yeah.
Put that one to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nip
and
it
my
in the butt.
advice,
Go ahead,
right.
Giselle.
My advice would be to try to find another person who's in a very similar situation with you. I mean, there's groups all over the internet for people with teenage
A
daughters.
mom
or-
group
yeah,
or yeah,
exactly. And how they're dealing with the situations at hand.
right.
Because those are the best people you can talk to, is somebody in a very similar situation. And that's
Yeah.
the best thing about the internet, or there are groups, support groups out there for everything. And just
Right.
having open, respectful conversations. So if the daughter wants to come at you with some verbal, arguments or attacks, just meet it with respect and love. That's all they need, is just to know that they're loved, and
There's
just
a
don't
reason
entertain
they're
it.
striking out. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if a child's gonna approach their mom or dad or whoever in that kind of manner, I think that's more so a cry for help and something's going on. You just have
Yeah,
to
and especially if they're
decipher, you know?
rebelling.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. There must be some way or another that they feel like they're being neglected, whether that's
Right.
mentally, or you're not actually present, you're not actually having quality time, or you're putting your job before them, or whatever it is. They
Something it
probably
is.
feel,
Right.
yeah, some kind of
Yeah.
neglect.
You got to just treat it with love. That's the best
Mhm.
advice.
Absolutely. All right, Jocelyn and Crystal, I thank you very much for hanging out with us today. Thank you for coming and chiming in. And Jocelyn, thank you for that story and
I love
sharing.
you, Crystal. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it helps someone out there who's in an abusive relationship,
sure.
or mentally
Oh, for
abusive
sure.
relationship, or someone who thinks that they're not good enough to find someone else, or to be loved. I've been told many times that I'm hard to love, and you shouldn't be with the person who even tells you that. So
Exactly.
For you,
I'm right
girl.
there
I'm
with
proud of
you.
you
I
Okay.
feel
too,
that.
for all the work
All
you
right.
put in on yourself. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
pat
you.
yourself
Thank
on the
you.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you,
And you're
ladies.
beautiful.
Nice
You both
meeting
are.
both.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So, definitely a great story. I mean, Jocelyn came in and she had a great story to tell. I mean, she went through a whole situation here, and and she went back into a toxic relationship after everything that she went through. And you'll find that people follow that pattern and they're addicted to that pattern.
Yeah.
And it's going to take them 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 relationships for them to really realize. And she
Right.
realizes she's got to love herself first, and not be so dependent on a man, codependent on a guy, or and she needs to be more dependent on herself,
Right.
and that's what she needed. That's what she needed to do. And so you would have thought that she would have learned after the first one, but they don't. You go back and follow the same cycle for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why you have to be a cycle breaker. And like she was saying, a lot of that comes from what you are shown as a kid and what you're growing up
Absolutely.
with in your household. And that's what the
Yeah.
patterns you follow a lot of the times. That's why you have to be the cycle breaker
You
for
think
your
it's okay.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So powerful story. I'm so happy
Yeah.
she shared, because it's
Yes.
sometimes hard going back and reliving all of that and talking about it. So
Mhm.
that was huge for her to go
It
through
is.
all of
It
that and talk
can
about it.
peel scabs off of.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Okay, so we'll be back next week with 4th of July. It's gonna be July
Yeah.
3rd. We're gonna the fireworks are gonna go off on our episode next week.
Ooh, we should have a spicy subject for next
We
week.
should.
Yeah.
We should talk about
Yeah.
sex.
We should.
We should.
Actually, I was thinking about that. Like,
But
Okay.
I'm not getting.
butt buddy kind of. Well, we'll
I'm
figure
not
it out. But if you have
getting.
figure it
suggestions,
out.
let us know out there.
Yeah, just let us know. Let one of us know if you have a suggestion on what we should talk about for our 4th of July or 3rd of
Something
July
on it
episode.
popping.
Fireworks special.
Fireworks
Something
special.
popping.
What, Megan?
I said something popping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Something could be popping. Yeah.
Could be
Ain't
popping
nothing
more.
popping over here.
I was gonna say it's not popping over here, so let's talk
Ain't
about it.
popping here. It's calm.
It's very calm. We'll see next week. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next Monday
Bye.
night. And we want to, and of course, Colette is laughing
That's
over
my
here.
sister. That's my sister.
Is that your sister?
That's my
Okay.
sister. Mhm.
Love it.
Nice. Love it. All right, guys. We'll see you all. Make sure you guys share this episode. Make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and we are going to be restreaming on all the podcast platforms wherever you get your podcast. I want to thank Lydia. I want to thank Megan, and of course, Michelle Urso.
Right back at you, Roger.
We'll see you guys all next week on Love on the Rocks.
Good night, everybody.